Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante. So Andrew Yang revealed his new healthcare plan. Oh, man. This is what we need. A corporate guy who's got some real bold centrist ideas. This is in like one of the major news outlets, right? The businessman said he supports the spirit of Medicare for all. Here's what this journalist says, not me, right? A proposal with elements of Medicare for all, but without the public option that even moderates like former Vice President Joe Biden and South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg have committed to implementing. So his plan is to the right of these two Republicans. Joe Biden and Mayor Pete Buttigieg are Republicans. It's worse. Andrew Yang's plan will cut about $9.7 trillion over the time period by tackling the root problems in the system, including prescription drug costs. Okay, these all sound like good things. Utilizing telehealth, decreasing unnecessary medical services. Telehealth, as I'm reading up, this sounds like a reasonable thing that some people are starting to talk about because they're like physicians are overburdened, right? So telehealth is, instead of setting up an appointment and going and waiting and taking all this time out of your day, you can call and talk to an actual licensed physician on the phone and say, hey, you know, whatever, my shoulder hurts, my eyes or whatever, and then they can give you sort of a, it's probably just this or this, and that takes 15 minutes and you don't have to get it in your car, right? Okay, fine. Decreasing unnecessary medical services, diminishing billing and insurance-related waste, minimizing doctor burnout, improving end-of-life care, and reducing poverty. All sounds good, man. He's good at sounding good. To be clear, I support the spirit of Medicare for all. Here comes some corporate dem talk. See, Andrew Yang's been very good at sounding like he's an outsider, and sure, he's an entrepreneur, and he's even brought up some relatively decent ideas. He's brought up the idea of UBI. His particular proposal sounds too Republican for me, and talking about how it relates to automation. We're going to need to really consider some form of UBI, right? So that's been good, but he just, look, man, the caucuses, the Iowa caucuses are about 50 days away. So you better come up with something bolder. I mean, we need bold plans. To be clear, I support the spirit of Medicare for all. Swiftly reformatting 18% of our economy and eliminating private insurance for millions of Americans is not a realistic strategy. Wow, that sounds like a guy who gets money from the healthcare lobby. So we need to provide a new way forward on healthcare for all Americans. Man, that's what we need. When we face a crisis like 30,000 people a year dying because they don't have healthcare, the number one cause of bankruptcy is medical costs. When they've done that, you've seen these interviews. They just did, person on the street interviews in London and asked about, people are like, a $10,000 bill? What? That was a foreign concept to the British. Foreign concept. Who've had healthcare since the 30s. I showed a video of JFK doing a speech in 1962 saying we're decades behind England and the rest of Europe with healthcare in 1962. So we're facing a complete crisis, but rich, out-of-touch people like Andrew Yang say it's not realistic. Wow, that's the kind of bold leadership we need, remember? Well, here's some other people, some centrists throughout history. There shall never be another season of silence until women have the same rights as men on this great earth. Susan B. Anthony, fighting for women's right to right. Oh, God, that seems a little too purity testy, though. That's not very centrist. Oh, man, I got the wrong ones. God. I mean, she helped women get the right to vote because she took a hard stance. She was unyielding, saying this had to happen. This is unfair. It ain't right. We ended slavery in the 1800s. And now women need the right to vote. Women need to have their own say in their own. She didn't say it's not realistic. It doesn't say, all right, I bet you I can find another centrist that was really bold. Here, Eleanor Roosevelt. A good leader inspires people to have confidence in a leader. A great leader inspires people to have confidence in themselves. Oh no, that's not centrist. All right, she must have said something centrist. You must do the thing you think you cannot do. Oh, Eleanor Roosevelt. Ooh. That doesn't seem... it's like this quote is almost like somebody said, hey, Eleanor, that's not realistic. And she said, then that's why we should do it. Like when JFK said, we don't go to the moon, put a man on the moon. We don't go to the moon because it's easy. We go because it's difficult. That's what JFK said. Another guy that's not a centrist. All those presidents, Andrew, that were centrists, do you remember their names? Neither do I. No one is talking about centrists throughout history. Andrew Yang, if you're watching this, your campaign is watching this, quit. Get out of the race. You don't belong here. This is too critical of a moment. You're going to say the Green New Deal is not realistic. Sure, we should, put solar panels here and there, but it's not realistic to transform an entire planet who has been completely dependent upon cheap oil into a non-fossil fuel burning planet so that we can survive. You're going to say that's not realistic. Look, was it centrists? Were there pragmatic realists during the civil rights movement? Oh no, another guy that's not a centrist. The time is always right to do what is right. The right thing is a real Medicare for all plan. Bernie and Tulsi are the only ones that have even something close. Bernie's Medicare for all is the gold standard. Then Tulsi's single payer plus. But those are two people that have realized there's bold leadership. You got to be bold. You have to, Tulsi wrote the OFF Act. Bernie's Green New Deal is the most comprehensive Green New Deal that I personally have seen. Maybe there's somebody else has one. We don't need centrism. You know what else wasn't realistic? Putting a man on the moon. Not realistic. Not pragmatic. Not realistic. And who helped with that? There were some black women. If you watch the movie Hidden Figures, watch that movie. Anything involving the space race, any movie, any documentary involving the space race, Andrew Yang, there was people going, it has to get done. Kevin Costner in that movie, and in interviews with the women or their family members, all said, they were like, the guy needs to go to the moon and get back. But we can't do it. I don't want to hear it. Figure it out. That's because this is going to happen because JFK said we're going to do this. And they did it after even he died. This is the right? This is the America we all wish we were. The leaders, and we came in peace. We should be doing this with a Green New Deal. We should be doing this with Medicare for all. Andrew Yang, if you can't do this, get out of the race. Or you, Buttigieg, and Joe Biden, what you should do, and maybe even Liz Warren, she used to be a Republican, all of you go run in the Republican primary. Just go do that. You don't have the bold thinking to be a leader at this critical time in history. Quit. You're just a business guy who's going to just do this little move and that little move to just keep your stock portfolio. I don't know why you got in this race. My guess is nobody knew who you were, and now they do. So you're going to write a book or launch some new app or some shit like that after you drop out of the race. But this centrism is stupid and offensive and a waste of all of our time. Get out of the race until you have a bold plan. Quit. You don't belong here. Thanks for watching the show, everybody. Nobody in the corporate media is going to call him that. Nobody's going to say that. Andrew Yang, you or your people, come on my show and I will tell you what I just said. Get out of the race or come up with bold leadership. Because imagine if Andrew Yang was the coach of a NFL football team, the beginning of the season in summer camp, right? Everyone's fired up. He's going to go 32 teams want to try to win the Super Bowl. We have a 1 in 32 chance. It's kind of not realistic. So let's just make some advancements. Last year we had a losing record. Let's try to get above 500 and see if we can maybe make the playoffs. But let's not be out of control here. That's bold leadership. Man, you watch interviews about Michael Jordan. That's why he was the greatest player ever, because he went, oh, it's not realistic. Bold leaders do bold things. Get out. There's the boldest thing you could do is quit. Leave the race. You don't have bold leadership. Come up with bold leadership and then you should stay. Otherwise, leave. This isn't for you. Take your corporate Wall Street entrepreneurial centrism and leave. My name's Graham Elwood. Support my show, patreon.com/Graham Elwood, Rokfin.com/Graham Elwood. And if you're a centrist, I hope this show doesn't offend you.